Hi everyone, Tim Kittrow, and here to bring home the bacon are Big Rye and the Fat Guy. Boom shakalaka!
And that is right. Boom shakalaka. NFL picks against the spread. Conference championships for the 21-22 NFL season. Fat Guy, we are 137, 141, and 4. We had a good weekend for divisional weekend, 3-1 against the spread, and it looked like Buffalo was going to pull out that late one, but we managed to get the cover with Kansas City at the -2.5 price. But on to the AFC Championship game, Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. This line literally came out like 2 minutes before we came live. Chiefs -7 at Pinnacle. Currently the juice for the game -7. Kansas City is +102, and that might be a little precursor into who you are going to take at 7 between Cincinnati and Kansas City early.
Yeah, you're going to see some I'll call it like line masking, line obfuscating, even though it's a bit of a, large word, but it still, I think, encapsulates. Here, I just sound like a total jerk. Encapsulates. Yeah. Anyways, you're going to see some line obfuscation. Like they're kind of messing with the juice. I'm going to highlight this more because they're doing the exact same with San Fran, LA. I got to do a little quick note here for the games. Like, obviously, they were very exciting. But is it just me, or is it just too sloppy to enjoy for certain things? Like 25 points in less than 2 minutes, and then, like the easiest drive to score a touchdown. Where's the defense? Am I the only one? I want a threat of defense. I want a suspension of disbelief. You know what I mean? Everyone knows Bruce Wayne is Batman, right? You know what I mean? Did anyone actually think there was a chance any defense could make a stop at any point? No, the only argument I could hear is like a clock, right? And even then, they got a field goal with 13 seconds to go. Wild game, wildly entertaining, but a little sloppy for me. A little I like a more tough mutter. I like a more Cincinnati, Tennessee. If not that wasn't sloppy to a degree as well. But anyways, the pick this week is definitely going to be the Bengals. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a juice quandary, if we can call it that. You can take the bad juice in the 7, or you can take the average juice and take the 6.5 with the Bengals. Now, the 7 isn't as big of a frequency hitter as it has been in past because of the emergence of 6. I know I talk about key numbers every single, every single show realistically, but it's important, right? And there's two ways to do it. There's Bayesian, where you kind of like use all of the results and kind of guesstimate where the true probabilities are. And then there's frequency, is just you just count how many over a large sample. The problem is Bayesian is more predictive, whereas frequency is more accurate with a really, really big sample. Maybe not. I mean, I'm not a mathematician or anything. It does some loose gambling math through the odd book here or there, with an extensive library like mine of books that I haven't read. But that being said, is you have this quandary where do you pay the higher premium to get the push on 7 with the Bengals, or do you pay the lower premium and you get the 6.5? So you give up the hook, you give up the push. And conversely, do you, because think about it, it's a lot hard. Like, it's pretty hard for the Chiefs to win by 8 in comparison to, 7. Like that's a bit of a mountain, right? And so this is a good math question, a good approach for, I bet you there are some math forward viewers that we have that would be able to answer these questions with some thoughts of their own. There's no like real right answer. Otherwise these lines would be sharper and they would take bigger limits in the beginning, right? It's not like people aren't working on this problem, but it is slowly getting better over time. I can't imagine that lines making, which I know it wasn't even 10 years ago. It was way, 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 way off. Anyway, so you have that choice now. Do I get good juice and take Kansas City -7? Do I get bad juice and take Kansas City -6.5? Or do I pay bad juice and take the Bengals +7? Or do I get average juice and I take the Bengals +6.5? So for us, the pick is going to be Cincinnati +7. But this isn't an endorsement in this juice problem. This is an endorsement for a non-existent record contest. We don't have to pay the juice. So obviously I'm going to take Cincinnati +7, right? It's the best out of those 4 options. Who do I like? Who am I betting on? I'm leaning towards Cincinnati +6.5. I think that's probably the best way to go at this current juice level. Will there be closing line value? I don't know. That's why it's a lean and it's not a for sure bet. Like, where is the public sentiment? this is one of those things, like that really exciting game with Kansas City. Is that going to bolster the public? Are the public adding that to their parlays? Are they really betting Kansas City that hard afterwards? I find that interesting. I'm curious to see how this market matures, right? And there's going to be serious bets.
I'll jump in, Fat Guy. Breaking, this is so small. There's only 542 bets on Action Network, but we have our first bet percentages. 74% of early bettors are on the Chiefs. And I've seen prices anywhere from -6.5 to -7.5. So you can kind of make your guess as to where those bets came in and at what line they've come in. But only 542. We're probably going to see like 150 to 180,000 bets for this game. So still a very, very small margin of what we're expected to see.
Yeah, and that's the argument too. Is like squares aren't, regular folk aren't betting right now. Like this is literally like this is birthing hour of the market. So it's I think this is pretty indicative that it maybe will shift. You know what I mean? And maybe it is a good time to pile on Kansas City. I'm not going to be doing that. I'll be perfectly honest. And by the time this video gets out, because of rendering on YouTube, it might be too late. The sports world doesn't move quite as fast as like trading commodities or something like that, but it moves pretty fast. You only have a few minutes here and there to nab that price. That's why it's good to have those types of lines already set up in advance. I'd like to say my endorsement is X, Y, or Z. It's a lean towards Cincinnati, but I don't want to be taking a bum price, especially with new information such as this. So this will be purely a contest pick. It'll be Cincinnati +7 with even juice because of the contest.
And then on to the NFC Championship game between San Francisco and the LA Rams. LA Rams are getting they're getting 3 or 3.5, and this is the same quandary of the juice problem. So you can either get San Fran at +3.5 at bad juice, or you can take the Rams at -3 with bad juice. So currently I have it listed because the juice is more favored towards the Rams at 3.5 than it is at 3. So we'll call it 3.5 for now. 43% of early bettors are on San Fran. 57% of early bettors are on the Rams at home. Fat Guy, where are you leading for this one?
See, with the juiceless contest, this is an easy San Francisco pick. I mean, 3.5 currently is -114 for San Francisco. And whatever line Pinnacle puts up between 3 and 3.5, this is purely, I'll call it suggestive theater, more or less, because they could put -3.5 or 3 because it's in like that 3.25 limbo. And this is where we have to, price shopping. Are these numbers the same? So you can get San Francisco currently at +3, +107, or you can get them at +3.5, -114. So the gap between +107 and -114, is that worth the hook, or is that the right price? You know what I mean? So that's one of those things that you have to kind of learn for yourself. And then, like I said, you use a frequency method or a Bayesian method to kind of come up with those types of ideas on what the right choice is. For the contest, it's obvious, right? I have to pick. I get no juice. I'm going to choose San Francisco, who's -114 currently, because it is a gap, right? Like if the line was -3, I'd be much more inclined to take the Rams, considering they're -119 on Pinnacle right now, whereas the Rams at -3.5, they're just above even money at +101. So there are some big differences here. And then you could always do, Fat Guy, what's the stupid saying I saw on Twitter one time, is you only pay the juice when you lose. Well, how about this? You want to cut down juice at all costs. It's paying a commission. You're going to lose. Like, it's not like you're going 100. Like, if losing wasn't a foregone conclusion, then maybe that argument could hold any sort of, okay, if it was a life or death contest, then it wouldn't matter, right? It wouldn't matter what juice you paid. But, if you're doing long haul betting, this is the world. This is the world, right? Put it this way, like a lot of people on Twitter, it's like the guys that, say you need to borrow money. It's like the guys that borrow money on their credit card versus the people that get, a line of credit. One's paying 18 to 24% and one's paying 2 to 6%. Like, who's stupid? Let's be honest here. The juice is everything, and calculating juice. And this is a good, I don't know if exercise might be the term, a good idea for the listeners, or sorry, the viewers rather, to look at their sports book and kind of shop and figure out what is the best price at which number, and what they think, and how they would tackle the problem. Like, I only suggested two methods, frequency test and a Bayesian model, but those are the only ideas I know about it. Do I know everything about math? No. Are there things that are undiscovered? Absolutely. And out of the thousands of people that watch this, I'm sure someone has a far better math inclination than mine. Not that I'm poor in that department, but it's just the reality of it. It's a wide net. So I'd be interested to see any sort of participation in the comment section in terms of how they would tackle these math problems. And they are. I understand two teams are playing football and you want to hear the handicapping aspect of it, but that's really, all of that stuff's baked into the line. And the other thing too is, do you have any, think about it, be honest with yourselves. When you're making a handicapping selection, do you really think you know better than the market long term with paying a commission? I don't think that you do. Do you have any extra information? Do you know any external things that nobody else knows? No. However, though, when you think about math is hard and people avoid it, think about what I'm saying. All of these things sound overly complicated and sound like something you don't want to do. What does that tell me? It tells me that the market is slightly beatable because people aren't willing to put in the time to understand which way a line is going to move and what juice is good at what price, right? In relation to with the total. That being said, too, as far as closing line goes, which way is it going to be? I think it's either a 3.5 or a 3 at even juice. I think those are only realistic probabilities. The only thing I can say though is 4 is such a misnomer number. It doesn't really matter. So that if it trends in the direction of 3.5, I think 4 isn't that unlikely. But I don't see 2.5. I would be very, very, very surprised outside of some weird injury news for it to go to 2.5. So the pick is going to be purely a contest pick. San Francisco plus 3.5. I will consider betting them in real life if I can get better than this ugly 114 juice. If I can get down to minus 105, I think I'm going to be making a play.
And just to highlight the difference with what Fat Guy's talking about is you can get San Fran right now plus 3 at plus 107, which translates to about 48.3%. Or you can get them plus 3.5 at minus 114, which is about 53.3%. So it's a difference of 5% in juice between 3 and 3.5. So you can see why at 3.5, it's an easy contest pick for him and I to take San Francisco, because we do incorporate a little bit of that 5% edge, being able to make a pick without having to pay any juice.
Absolutely. And think of it, one more thing to add to that is, think of it, if you're doing a pick'em pool, do you know what I mean? And you get this line, and say one guy takes minus 3.5 and it's currently plus 101, and you take it at minus 114. Regardless of what the results are, you had the advantage, assuming the closing line of a book like Pinnacle is efficient. I can tell you right now, it is very efficient. It is very difficult to beat. So you would have an edge, and an edge is slim as 5%, like Big Rye said. But those kind of things compound. That's why, not to toot our own horns, we've been very successful in local contests for those types of things. Unfortunately, you don't bear the fruit as much fruit as we would like, but it is what it is. On to the lightning round.
On to the lightning round. AFC Championship game, Cincinnati at Kansas City at 7.
The Null Bengals.
And the NFC Championship game between San Fran and the LA Rams at a juiced up 3.5.
The Null 49ers.
Fat Guy, congratulations to Starfire for going 4-0
awesome.
In the
Good
contest. I was actually prepping this, and it was a two-way tie for the Bills to cover, and there would have been two guys who tied 4-0. They both had totals of 55 points for that game, so they were tied, exactly. We might have had to spin the wheel, but that late Kansas City come from behind overtime thrilling
no defense thrilling victory
with no defense. Which I do want to highlight also, the later you get into the games and the more tired players become, there's just such a huge advantage for the offense, and especially teams like these two teams with such great quarterbacks. It's just such a huge advantage at the end of games. But congratulations to Starfire for going 4-0 in the divisional round.
I like that name.
And then for the overall playoffs, that 4-0 managed to boost him up to the top But I do see True Contrarian is sneaking in there at 10th, even though True Contrarian forgot to make their picks for
Did he ever?
for the week.
He just wants to hold on to that win percentage, eh?
Yeah, but congratulations to Starfire for going 4-0 this week, and then 8-2 overall for the playoffs. And then Fat Guy onto the honorable mentions. The JS715 name of the week honorable mentions.
All right, we got live stream withdrawals. I guess that's a shot at us. We got some things cooking in the back burner. I know I say that often, but dude, they're piling up like cordwood. So it's been a lot of work. I'm sorry, but you're just gonna have to be patient. You know, going to the dogs all forked. Well, you probably did well. Bengals trying to burrow their way into SoFi. I like it. That's fun. 2 guys, 1 spread. 2018 Week 15 video. That's pretty funny. Check out that video for cringe if you do enjoy that sort of thing. Aaron Donald will grab you by the throat. Will he ever? Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Describe teenage dating perfectly. R.I.P. Meatloaf. The recently deceased Meatloaf. That is a shout out to him. I always get him mixed up with that other dude that looks exactly like him, and I can't remember which video they're always in. I think he was in The Matrix. I don't know. Anyways,
Louis
quote
Anderson?
of the day. Yeah, I'm sure. Quote of the day from Fat Guy. I like big nuts, and I cannot lie. I like long droopers. Ooh boy, Fat Guy will coach the Jaguars. I'd like to give a crack at being a GM. A coach? No way. I know nothing. Zero.
This is the JS715 name of the week. Whoa, kaboom!
Underdogs will rule this weekend, but we will see who comes
Out on top.
out on top. There you go. Well, that's a little bit of a plug considering, what is it, 4-0 or 3-1?
3-1 for dogs straight
3-1.
up, and Buffalo was very, very close to making it a underdog.
Very
weekend.
close. 13 seconds. Are you serious? Play defense.
And then make your picks against the spread for the conference championships. There's going to be a link in the description. If not, head to BigRyanTheFatGuy.com to make your picks. And Fat Guy, that's it. It's a brief weekend. There's only the 2 games. Still 26% of bets on the Bengals. You can see there 43% of early bettors are on the San Francisco 49ers, but I also want to say, this is brand new, 96% of the money on the spread is on the Cincinnati Bengals, so I think people are agreeing with you as far as early sharp money seems to be on Cincinnati and San Fran, which is where we've gone as well. And there you go. He might have to make a play, so we're going to head off. Good luck for you guys in your conference championship picks.